I'm on the red carpet. George Clooney, George, Madonna over here. Oasis, Liam Gallagher, Liam. He just gave me the finger. So I started my career as a showbiz reporter for the radio in London. So any celebrity who was active in the years 1996 to 1997 were probably interviewed by me on a red carpet somewhere in the world. From Hollywood stars, rock and roll stars, sports stars. I interviewed them all. And then I worked my way up as a senior producer at the BBC. I even produced live shows with 3 British prime ministers. You can imagine me behind the scenes at the BBC. I probably wrote all the scripts, but I'd hold up that idiot board, we'd call it, the idiot board, and I hold it up and I go, we're going to go live. Are you ready? In 3, 2, eyes and teeth. And everybody thought I was this super confident person. I wasn't. The first career-shattering wake-up call came when I was invited to go for a promotion at the BBC for a more senior role. Suddenly, the tables turned. I'm sitting in the boardroom. There's 8 people looking at me. Boss's boss, HR, people writing notes, judging me. Suddenly, that sensation of all the eyes on me and me in the spotlight stops me from being able to speak English. And that's my first and only language, by the way. I sit there and I'm shaking, and I lose my nerve. My personality leaves the room. I'm like a lamb to the slaughter. I didn't know then, but I suffered then from what's called glossophobia. That's the fear of public speaking. Glosso is the ancient Greek word for tongue, phobia. But I got over my glossophobia, which is a good thing. But BBC Newsflash, I didn't get the job on that occasion. But what I realize now, I felt so guilty and ashamed for not preparing enough for that one interview. But it wasn't about me preparing for that one interview, I know now. I'd spent my whole life preparing stars. I prepared other people to shine in the spotlight. All my energy, all my ideas, my script writing went into other people to be good. So when it came to my turn to shine in the spotlight, I had nothing left. In fact, I was technically brilliant at my job, but I was invisible. I needed to get out there and make myself more visible. And it's a good job that I did leave the BBC a few years later and start my own business, because now I help super talented people all over the world to go from technically brilliant at their job to visibly brilliant at their job. You know, I see so many people working really, really hard. They put in all the hours. They work harder than their boss. They work harder than everyone else, but they're not getting rewarded or the credit or quite often paid for what they do. Do you know what I call these people? The invisibles. The invisibles. They sound like superheroes, don't they? That's my Wonder Woman pose. It'd be more like the invisibles, the superheroes. They're secret because they're in the shadows. They've got dark cloaks on. You know, you can always spot the invisibles. They always wear navy blue or black around the office. They don't wear bright clothes. They always work more hours than everyone else. You ask an invisible, will you work on Saturday? And they reply, of course I will, because I work longer than everyone else and I do all the work. In fact, I'm holding up this entire organization secretly because nobody really knows about me. And when I started my business, I realized the uncomfortable truth about being an invisible superhero. The problem with being brilliant and invisible is that you can't really get clients and do good business because people don't really know that you exist. So I knew I had to get myself out there. My second rude wake-up call came when I was asked to speak in public. I knew I had to do it. I remember she was a senior partner at a law firm, Pippa. She said, Esther, will you come and speak at this conference at Middle Temple? That's like this huge building near the Royal Courts of Justice in London. I thought she meant that she wanted me to help her speak, so I said, Pippa, yes, of course. We'll write the script together, it's going to be great. And then she said, no, you're going to speak at this conference. And it happened again. I remember 200 lawyers looking at me, judging me. I started shaking, sweating, coming out in a rash. I forgot my lines. I had a script with me. I tried to read the script, but my dyslexic brain couldn't quite decipher the words. I forgot half my script, but do you think the audience noticed? Of course they didn't. Pippa loved it. She said, well done, Esther. Excellent. Will you do it again in Paris? And I went, okay. I knew I had to do it. It was painful, but I did take that first leap, and I did practice. So if it's that easy, all you've got to do is go for it. Why aren't more brilliant people more visible? Now, I've done a lot of research on this. I've asked a few thousand people all over the world, so why aren't you putting yourself out there, as they like to call it? And do you know what the number one reason is for people not being visible? Fear. Fear of being like them, as well as fear of failure. Them. So I was working with these data analysts recently, because my life's really exciting. And I asked them, so why aren't you more visible? And they said, we don't want to be arrogant. We don't want to be like them. The blaggers, the big gobs that say, oh, I really like the sound of my own voice, but I have absolutely nothing to say. And the people that post on LinkedIn, I'm so humbled by my award. And the problem is that a lot of people that are technically brilliant look at those visibles and think, well, they're not really technically brilliant because they like the sound of their own voice. And one of the data analysts came up to me, Celine, and she said, I do not understand why I cannot get promoted even though I do all this hard work. I deliver what I say I'm going to deliver. I don't get promoted. I don't get the credit. And why do I have to be in this spotlight? Why do I have to post on this LinkedIn? I don't like LinkedIn. I kind of know how she feels. It can be quite irritating. In fact, hands up if you get a bit irritated by LinkedIn and all the people posting on it. Exactly. I said, Celine, I understand your pain, but you have to get yourself out there. So we cooked up a plan. It turns out Celine was already on the diversity committee at her organization. I said, why don't you set up a diversity networking breakfast that you could host? She did it. The first time she was afraid. The second time she was petrified. The third time she was owning the room in her sassy pink suit and her raven hair. And now she's the go-to spokesperson for diversity for her organization. She has gone from invisible and not getting credit and not getting promoted to visible. And you know what she's done? She's just done this one thing. This is your first takeaway today. Do you know what she's done? All she's had to do was this one thing. Share. Share. Not the singer share. Share and share alike. Because when you share yourself, you share your insights, your ideas, and your experiences, it's a generous thing to do. Sharing isn't the same as showing off. Showing off is selfish. Showing off is arrogant. Celine learned to share, and that's what I've learned to do. And you can do it too. How can you share your thinking? Second takeaway today. My sow strategy, sow as in sow seeds of visibility. I've got these wild seeds in my pocket as a little prop. That's very handy. So this is the sow strategy. Are you ready for the sow strategy? S-O-W. It's this simple. S. Speak. Yes, speak in public, even if you do suffer from glossophobia like I did. It will get you noticed, and you can start small. Speak as regularly as you can, once a week, twice a week if you can, in small groups. O, opportunities. Find opportunities to speak or be a guest on a podcast. And if you can't find them, make them up. Just like Celine did, make up some networking breakfast or some award ceremony. Make up an award if you want. Don't wait for opportunities, because when you're waiting, everyone else is getting promoted and getting ahead. W in so. Write. Simply write your ideas down. Write them in a journal, on post-it notes, on whiteboards. I used to be terrified of writing because I'm not very good at spelling and I'm dyslexic. But writing has changed my life. Writing will give you your hotbed of potential content gold that you can go to next time you need to share something. So get out there and share. So my idea, word spreading in this beautiful city of Florence this evening is this. For all the invisibles, come out of the shadows and into the spotlight and swap your dark cape, your navy blue or black cape, to a bright one, purple, like the local football team in Florence, by the way, La Violetta, green, yellow, red, pink, whatever. Don't hide your light, don't hide your talent anymore. Because when you get your voice heard, you can change the world. And it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what you sound like, what your accent is, what your skin color is, how many kilograms you have on your butt. You can share your ideas. People want to hear you. What is it that Michelle Obama says? You can't be what you can't see. So imagine this, if you share yourself, you are helping others because they can look at you, because we need diverse voices. We don't want to hear from the same voices all the time, the visibles. We want to hear different people. So this is your moment to shine. So why not go from invisible to visibly brilliant? Thank you.